because Mint gives
I'm going to cover up the product
Oh,
placement
cool.
on my drink.
Hello and welcome to Berkshire Motor Show in Prospect Park. We said we were coming down and we have made it, and we have brought 2 cars with us. We actually managed to get the kit car all looking one colour, as long as you don't look under the bonnet.
Yeah, it took a lot of rattle cans yesterday,
Yeah.
but it is now all in black.
It is very much the most ghetto paint job you could possibly do, because it's really nice at the back. I say nice, it's not really
It's
nice.
better, it's less terrible.
It's better, and then
Yeah.
the whole front of the car was done just with satin black rattle cans. So lots and lots of people have been down asking us about the car. Mostly they've been saying, what is it and why? All very valid questions. And right in front of you, we also have a Mitsubishi GTO, which is the 3-litre twin-turbo 6-speed one that is our new project. Mostly because we picked it up from one of our helpers. You might have seen on the credits, our QC guy, Adrian, had this for quite a while, and unfortunately it's baked in COVID with the paint all just peeling away.
Just kind of got parked up and forgotten about for
Yeah,
a bit.
pretty much.
So which camera are we on now? That one's gone green, we're on that one. Excellent.
We're also getting used to a lot of new interesting tech. We've got tally lights on our cameras.
So
Which
in
is
theory,
very
if I'd paid
interesting.
attention, I could see we were on that one.
So now, that one should be live, which it is. So yes,
Excellent.
we are doing really, really well down here. Lots and lots of people, as I say, have been coming and saying, what on earth are you doing? And going, well, this is brilliant. I love that you're doing this. I definitely wouldn't. You're absolutely mad. Well, you're not wrong. We've also got our throw a rod game, which we'll have a look at in a minute as well. So that is, it's not an engine block. It is some drain pipe with some wood and steel that I kind of welded and threw together a little bit. Put some 12mm bolts through, and then got some mini rods, and you just toss them in. So instead of throwing a rod, you said it best.
My joke is we're throwing rods the right way. We're throwing rods into the engine instead of throwing rods out of the engine.
So yeah,
it's been a fun little game.
We've been doing really well. Lots of people have been coming down. If you manage to hook one on one of the engine studs, you get 1 point. You get 4 rods. And if you throw it all the way down into the block and you get it through one of the bores, you get 2 points. And if you get 8 points, which is 1 in every single different hole, you win a t-shirt. So far, nobody has won a t-shirt.
Unfortunately, you as a stream viewer,
yes,
not really able to play. So
yes,
if you can, stop streaming, get down here, say hi.
Yeah. No, don't stop streaming. Leave it running.
Yeah, leave it running. We need that
leave it running in the background, or come on mobile as well. Do both. Why not? It's all beautiful watch time. But when you come next month, because if you haven't come to this one and you want to come down and see this monstrosity, probably the GTO, ideally the Thunderbird as well, you can come down to Berkshire, not Berkshire Motor Show, West Berks Classic Car Club, which is on the 6th of August at Newbury Showground, just down the road from the M4, just next to junction 13, wherein you'll be able to see all of us, meet us again, and have a go and throw a rod. So yeah, how many people have you explained this to so far?
A lot.
Yeah.
I would say like somewhere well north of a dozen. It takes quite a while because like there's so much to talk about on it, and everyone has so many questions. Like, you know, what was it based on? Why did you make all these weird decisions, like putting the engine in the back? How have we solved all these problems?
Yeah.
We've actually had a couple, and this has been really, really useful. We've had a couple of electronics engineers and electromechanical engineers come along that we've been talking to about our known issue with the ECU.
Yeah.
And both of them have agreed.
Yes.
We've fried the EEPROM, which is actually super awesome for us because it means the ECU itself is probably fine.
Yeah.
We just have to get a new EEPROM chip.
I'm not sure if the EEPROM in that one actually is soldered to the board or not, or whether it's a removable socket. The VR6 one is a socket which you just pop the EEPROM out of and put a new one in. It has a little adapter plate that goes in. Perfect.
For anyone who doesn't know, an EEPROM is just like a little memory chip that it contains probably some of the software and configuration and usually your map.
So you're going to have to excuse me because I forgot to put a belt on my shorts, so they're going to keep trying to walk down. So when we go on a wander around the show, which we're going to do shortly,
you're going to be walking
if you
like
suddenly
this.
see me John Wayning around the place, it's because my shorts are descending towards my knees, and that is not a great idea, surrounded by people. Nobody wants to see that, mostly because I don't know how many weld holes are in my boxers.
So Wade's going to be taking you on a whole tour around the show. I'm going to be staying back here at the stand and basically, you know, carrying on talking to people about the car and what we're doing here.
Indeed.
So I don't know when are you due to set out and do your tour of the show?
When we'd finished gassing about stuff from here, but it's been really nice. It's not been too hot. We came down here last year and it was baking and I got horribly burnt. I look like I'm already horribly burnt, but that is a previous issue.
I mean, I'm still burnt from last weekend.
Yes, so you might have seen on the live stream we did last week, we tested this whole setup with
Yeah.
the Starlink connection on. It's currently sat on the car behind us.
And I was this colour.
Yes, and he was basically the colour of this car. It was really pretty vibrant.
In fact, actually, I've got the same kind of lack appeal going on.
Yes. Yeah, you look like the bonnet on the front of here, which we'll take a better look at before we go on a big long wander. We've got some really good neighbours over here. There's a mobile mechanic, which I must admit, it's very tempting to see if they can come and fix some things on the Thunderbird, or this. Mostly electronic-wise, well, not so much on the Thunderbird. We've also got a school club next to us who build little electric racing cars, and they're here getting donations to try and get stuff together. So when we go over, you can go to deanfield.org.uk and that will tell you more about them. But they are basically up to GCSE level kids building little electric cars, so we'll definitely go and have a look at those. They're doing really well. And apparently it's about £100 a race to enter.
That's quite cool. And I mean,
So
the cars are really cheap as well because they're powered by car
Yeah.
batteries, little 12-volt lead-acid batteries. It's a standard motor, which is like roughly as powerful as an e-bike motor. It's a fair bit bigger, but
You would look at our electronics,
Yeah.
which has previously been described as vibe-based aerodynamics. Sorry, not electronics, like our diffuser.
our aero is very
Yes.
vibes-based. There's no
Their-
science in this at all.
Their aero is bargain basement, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
A lot of the wheel covers are just gaffer tape
Yes.
put between the rim to make a nice, smooth thing to run over.
You'll see it when we show you. It's basically bike wheels.
So good.
So well put
yes,
together.
Let's try and get mobile.
Yep.
Let's see what we can do. We
Yep.
just pop it onto the big wide camera, which should also work, so you can see across the show. There are loads and loads of cars here. Some of them, admittedly, have already gone home. There was a nice-looking Hurricane SV. I think it was a Hurricane SV.
Is that the guy who's making all of the noise when
Yes,
you're
he
generally
was.
being
He was
obnoxious?
revving it very, very loud randomly through the day, and yes, that was quite loud. But
It was.
he's tootled off now. So there's still a McLaren parked up over there as well, which is nice. But there's lots and lots of classics over that way, and we've got Craven Car Club over this side, which also sponsored.
Are they the 4x4 club, or are they someone else?
No, they're the next
Oh,
one
the
round.
next
So the
one's
people
over,
actually
okay.
put the show on is a group called 4x4 Without a Club, which, given they are a club, is a bit of a misnomer. But they have a small patch of land not that far from here, which they have an actual woodland trail on that runs all the way through and does stuff, which is really, really cool.
Now, we're about to get drowned out by a two-stroke.
Ah, that's one of the ones from Craven.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
But yeah,
so those are
we've,
the guys that were doing that.
Right,
So
okay.
hopefully you can still hear us. If you can't, don't worry. Most people stop after a few minutes, and the plan will be to go mobile with this camera, and hopefully, if we've also got a stick mic, which we may or may not have working, yes we do, we can... Excuse me, my voice is absolutely ruined from today. It's been a lot of talking. So, yeah, I'm probably not going to have a voice by tomorrow. But the plan will be, we'll go around, see if anybody wants to have a chat about the cars that they have. A lot of people do just park their car up and then go on a wander, so we might not find too many people, but we'll see who we can find. So, if we get the roaming cam up and running, we will try, let's see if I can just mute
Shall I
this.
mute
No,
myself for now?
Yeah, if you mute yours just
Yeah.
in case, so you can still chat to people here, and the system will work. And we'll go and we'll have a quick look at the GTO in the front of the kit car, because we've painted it all, and oh, it looks so good. So yeah, let's see what we can do. So we're going to have a quick walk around, probably about half an hour or so, come back up here, and then let everybody get on with their lovely day. And you can go and watch more of our videos as well on the channel. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Check out shop.pedalbox.show, where you can buy t-shirts like these. So I'm actually wearing a proper t-shirt today. I did have a hat, but I've put it down, I think, over there. So just believe me that hats exist. So, are we now on roaming cam? Now we're on roaming cam, and I'm on. I presume you need me to talk on the stick mic, yes? Cool. Okay, so we're going to run on this. It appears as though we are on the roaming cam now, and yes, now we can go and have a look at the GTO. So this is the latest project that we've just added to the fleet, and the main thing with this is opportunistic. We are basically going to try and redo all the bodywork on this. All the paint doesn't actually need a lot of bodywork, other than a small dent here that happened long before I owned it, or my friend Adrian, who owned this before as well. So we're going to try and get all of this paint back to one colour, because at the moment it is at least 2 different shades of pink, one down here and one here, and a couple of shades of red to boot. So we're going to try and improve the look of this a lot, all being well. So over here, This is the little school electric cars that we were talking about. These are amazing. I love these. So they are raising money so that they can get the entrance fees together. Is it... Oh, your thing's going. Is it Deanfield Org UK that people can donate through?
Yeah. Yeah, Deanfield.
Yeah, so if you go to deanfield.org.uk, you can donate if you want to try and help them get into more races and obviously fund more of the bits and pieces. They have to transport these because, believe it or not, all of these cars are not road legal. They have to be transported to and from the tracks. So they get up there, and as I say, this is the gaffer-based aerodynamics, which I love. It's extremely well put together, considering how much do the cars normally cost to put together?
Couple thousand sometimes. Yeah, but
It's not bad. Considering it is a full working electric car with disc brakes and everything else, that's not bad. And you compete obviously in it as well.
yeah, compete. We've gone to finals before.
So yeah, it is good fun. But yes, definitely have a look if you want to try and support them too. They've got another one over here. This one's had a load of extra work done to it. It's got diagnostics and all sorts in it. But this one has all the bodywork on at the moment. So let's go and have a walk around the rest of the show. We'll pop down and have a look at Craven, who are just next to us here. Excuse me and my cough. As I say, my throat is definitely losing out today. We're being followed. It's one of the buttons. When you just need to get something out of the GTO. So Craven have bought a number of minis down. You've got a really nice looking pickup over here with the top on it. Sorry, carry on. We're just meandering. And then they've got this really nice rally Datsun over here, which is clearly from the East African Safari. So hopefully that's seen some action. I presume this has seen some action on the East. How much action has this seen? Oh.
Quite a bit.
Nice. How many rallies?
Probably about 15, 20.
15 to 20 rallies. And it's still looking in great condition. How often do you have to repaint it?
Well, I haven't yet.
Really? Wow. That is looking extremely good. All things considered. And it's for sale. Don't tempt me. I don't need another car. I mean, I want another car, but I don't need one. So, yeah. Let's go and continue the wander around. Thanks very much. So over here we've got another Escort. I presume it's a Mexico edition because it has the big flared arches, but I could be wrong. I'm not so hot on my old Fords. And then this, I do love a Manta. So this is an Opel Manta. This also looks like it's been doing a good number of rallies, judging by the number of headlights on the front of it. This is absolutely the right thing to do. And it's got a nice big, it's got a huge ducktail spoiler on the back, and 5-spoke compa motives always look good on everything. I'm yet to find anything that these wheels don't look amazing on. And on the right side of that, there is the NSX to complement our GTO. So our GTO was actually built, or the Mitsubishi 3000 GTO was originally built as a competitor to this. And this is an absolutely finely tuned piece of automotive genius. These things handle so well. The downside, compared to our GTO, this is extremely light, has a lot of the same features, active steering, all the rest of it. The GTO weighs about 600 kilos more than this, but it has four-wheel drive, four-wheel steering, a bunch of other stuff, so it's still extremely quick. And the GTO was actually approximately as fast off the line, but the NSX is such a glorious car. I absolutely love them. Just the lights across the back where the scoop comes through, down from the wing, just, it's so good. Absolutely love it. So we'll move around to 4x4 Without a Club and have a quick look at what they've brought down as well. They've got a very heavily modified Defender over here that is currently showing off its suspension travel on this rock. I don't even think, actually no, this log probably isn't even stressing it particularly. So these are the guys that put on the show. So for next year, you can, if you want to come down, the show itself is actually free to the public to enter. It's just in Prospect Park, and you only actually pay for car parking. So I think it's £2 per vehicle to come down and park. But that thing looks like an absolute weapon. But I do like the long wheelbase cab over. on that one. That's really, really nice. And then I think, I'm not sure what this one used to be. It looks like it might have been a Discovery, and it has been heavily worked on, because it has, the only piece of original bodywork I think left on it is part of the bonnet and the doors, maybe the roof as well. But yeah, that thing is a weapon. I know I spotted this one. We chatted to the guy who owns this one last year as well, which is built on a Range Rover. And the bonnet on this one is a genuine Range Rover bonnet that they just cut the middle section out of and welded it back together, because they didn't need it to go over the wheels, it just needed to cover over the engine. And honestly, it's such a nice job that it's been put back together. It's great. But I think that is actually the only original piece of bodywork on that from what I remember. Everything else is diamond plate.
Right now, which means I can talk to you about the car instead. Now, I'm just going to stay off camera for a second. Mint, how much of the car is in frame? Like, what's visible?
Everything except like where Yoda is.
Oh, right, okay, so you can actually see like in the engine and that. Okay, cool. So for anyone who's not like watched the whole project from the beginning and doesn't know every intricate detail of this, what we basically started out with on this build, we didn't know it at the time, but we started out with the chassis from this book, which is Ron Champion's Build Your Own Sports Car for as little as £200 or £250. It turns out Ron Champion's talking bullshit. It might have been accurate a long time ago when he wrote it, but today the donor cars that he recommends just don't exist anymore.
It's only 30 years old.
It is 30 years old, to be fair. So we started out with a chassis as spec'd in that book. We've since cut a huge, huge amount of it off. I would show you the picture, but like holding my phone up probably isn't going to work very well. But of the chassis that was in here, we've cut off probably a good third or a quarter of the front of it. We've cut out most of the floor, and we've cut out everything behind the firewall, obviously to extend it and fit the engine in the back. So there's a huge amount of engineering has gone into making all that sort of stuff work. Unfortunately, that has meant that almost none of the parts, none of the sort of, you know, donor car recommendations and everything that would have applied to that chassis actually work for us. So where you're meant to put something like a Ford Pinto in the front, we've ended up with a VW 20-valve turbo in the back. Where you're supposed to have open wheels with little mud guards and headlights on stalks, we've got closed wheels and we've got headlights in the body. And where you're not supposed to have a windscreen, or maybe you have little wind deflectors, we of course have a fully enclosed cockpit. We're going to have a roof on here. We've got a full engine bay cover on there, and we're going to have a windscreen. Of course, that means windscreen wipers. It means ventilation and defogging and all the complexity that brings with. So all in all, a very, very different machine from the Caterham clone, sort of low-cost clone that this started life as. The result is, where a Caterham normally weighs sort of 500 to 550 odd kilos, fully built with an engine, with fluids and everything else, this is currently at about 800 or 900 kilograms in total weight. So this is a really, really heavy car relative to a Caterham. On the bright side though, we are still on the right side of a ton. And with 230 horsepower in the back, thanks to a little turbocharged VW engine, it should still go pretty quickly. So that's pretty much all the main stuff. I could now go into like silly levels of detail on all the little bits and pieces like the Audi TT mirrors and why they are where they are, why we have BMW E46 air vents, stuff like that. But honestly, most of that isn't really interesting. It's the thing that we found on eBay that was fairly cheap and met a couple of requirements. But the broad strokes of it is we made one bad decision that led to another forced bad decision, and here we are. Now we're starting to get a little bit of a crowd going, so what I might do is just start answering people's questions And I don't know quite where that's going to leave you as an audience. You won't be able to hear anyone else through my microphone, I don't think. You'll just be able to hear my replies. And I'm getting a look from Mint, and I'm not sure if it's a good or bad look. I'm getting a shrug. So I might go ahead with that, see if we've got any questions from folks who are here at the show, because of course we are here to demo the car and talk to people, and see if we can share some of the fun. Because we've had a whole bunch of people come around, you know, they've got project cars of their own that they've been building, projects that they've wanted to work on, and the fact that Adrian and I, as a programmer and a video production engineer, can build this in our driveway, unprotected from the elements, with no workshop, with hand tools, around full-time jobs, it's actually been quite inspiring to a few people. So I'm hoping we can get that out a little bit more to a few more people. So if you don't mind, I'm going to largely ignore you for now and just start talking to some real people here in the real world. Which means now I have to like start doing the really awkward thing of going up to people going, you look like you've got some questions that you'd like to ask.
As you say, little ones been having a look
Yeah?
at
Our kids love it. It's got all the right Batman. Yeah. Yeah, we've spent a whole bunch of this year making the edges not sharp and not so deadly. So yeah, there's all the sort of radii around this. It's really boring. The Lord doesn't like us being jaggy.
No,
yeah, no fun at all.
Straight out Mad Max.
Oh, so Mad Max and Batmobile are the
Yeah.
two comparisons. Are the two like things we've had people mention the most.
As soon as I saw it, Mad Max.
Yeah.
Put some spikes on it.
If you
Put a big water can on the back.
yes, yeah, but maybe a flamethrower and yeah.
Water can on the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you wouldn't have said that if you saw it yesterday. It was all grey.
Oh.
So it only got the paint literally yesterday as we were packing it up. I was out grabbing the trailer to bring it here yesterday, and
maybe not for sticky fingers.
Not
yeah,
sticky fingers.
yeah. But yeah, the whole thing, the entire build is documented on YouTube. There's like 100 episodes of it out. I think there's probably like 0 people currently watching through that camera on a stream at the minute. But yeah, no, we've got the whole thing documented, and not in like the TV drama-y way where it's like, and then we built a car. It's like every detail. Yeah. But yeah, it's more video here than any sane
Unplugged and
person
replugged
would
in the
ever want to
HDMI,
watch.
and it's got audio.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they do. Damn.
Yeah, 1 second.
What's the plan for this?
Make it road legal.
Finish it.
Question, how are you going to make it drive?
As in
Front wheel drive, rear wheel drive?
Rear wheel drive.
So it's got Bluetooth drive shafts at the moment.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking the engine's in the wrong way around. How are you going to get the engine to run the opposite direction?
No, it's in the right way.
That's not.
It's just transplanted directly out and just dropped straight in again. Inlet on the front, exhaust on the back, same as it is in the A3. Same way around. Normally the bonnet line would come across that way. Yeah. It's just
You're
'cause
used to seeing that near you,
you're looking
aren't
into the opening going, but that's wrong. So yeah.
That's what the question was. I'm thinking,
Yes.
it's going to have 6 reverse gears in one.
Yeah. Oddly enough, that was one of the problems that we had very, very, very early on. What I wanted to do was take the 4-wheel drive version of it and flip it.
Yeah.
And then like 10 seconds before we go, no, that's not going to work. We're going to be going backwards
Yeah,
all
it's
the time.
still poked out the back.
I want to build a
Okay, cool.
Metro 6
So we back up and running again.
Oh, please do. Please do.
So theoretically this should now be working once more. Hopefully
Yeah.
you can all hear me okay. We're going to have a wander around some of the other cars. So if you are looking to come down, there is a fun fair over to the other side that way. Obviously we are basically at the top of the hill, which is really nicely positioned for our kind of over top camera. We've got that overlooking the entirety of the field, which is really, really neat. Let's hopefully make sure that everybody can still hear me. So one of the local MG dealers has brought a bunch of their things down as well, but I'm not entirely sure. Well, I know virtually nothing of... Oh, it's Suzuki's as well. Okay, that's interesting. But down in the centre of the field, there is more of the sort of classic car show. So you have a lot more of the classic car show down this way. We're actually chatting to one of the guys who has the silver Corvette that's just down in front of us. But there are some really nice motors around here. So is that a Ford? I presume that's... Oh yes, it's a Ford Coupe. It says so on the number plate. I should probably just read things. So I'm going to guess, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that is probably a 1934 Ford Coupe. And then next to it is a really nice orange Stingray, which is lovely. Absolutely 10 out of 10. So over here, this looks like a 5 Series. Yep. Pretty certain this is a 5 Series, a 525 maybe. Clearly 1987 has a vintage tax disc on. Here's the front end of that coupe, the 34. One of the shows I watch, Roadkill. I'm sure many people watching this must have come across Roadkill at some point or other. David Freiberger has, I'm pretty certain, a mid-1930s Ford coupe. Actually, no, it can't be a coupe. It must be an A, which he calls the F-Rod, and that is that did 8.501 down the drag strip, which is absolutely mental, and is right on the limit of what his cage is rated for. So here's this orange Corvette as well. Got a nice 360, I believe 360 Ferrari on this side, and the Stingray. So the owner of the Stingray came over and had a look at our car and went, "Wow, that's amazing." And I said, "Yeah, but you got a Stingray. That looks amazing. That looks way better than ours, mostly because a professional made that." Over there, you've got a Daimler. I do like the Daimler V8s. They are great fun. They're not meant to be particularly good cars. That's the only downside with them, but they do have a V8. That's, well, according to the badge, an SP250. And yeah, they're really nice, but they mostly benefit from the fact that they are a V8. Don't worry, no problem. Yeah, absolutely fine. We're just meandering, don't worry about it. There's a nice, like, surprisingly clean and yet very original looking camper van here. I can't imagine that the bodywork is completely original, but I will be absolutely properly stunned if it really is, because damn, that looks really good. Apparently it's called Daisy, which is absolutely fitting for a VW camper. Now down on this side we've got another BMW 5 Series, much like the other one, obviously bonnet down on here. I'm guessing probably another 525 potentially, but next to it, a Cobra replica. I'd love to believe this has a 427 in it, but a lot of them end up with the Rover V8s, which are still very, very solid vehicles. And next to it, as if to make the very small, low-slung sports car look absolutely ridiculous, a Ram 1500 Hemi just casually waiting next to it. And that's not even one of the massive Hemis either. That's got a short bed on the back, although it is a crew cab, which is huge. Yeah, just as a... So I'm 6'4", and this thing still dwarfs me. Like, that's how ridiculously massive this is. Frankly, if you're going to have one of those, absolutely have the Hemi. The Hemi is the right answer. The Hemi is always the right answer. And down here, I think this is a... I don't actually know what that is. I want to say it's an Escort, but I don't think it is from the headlights. It is extremely clean, though. It is an Escort. It's an RS2000. I should have trusted myself, but I didn't. And then... Oh, it's a Hillman. Oh, that's very nice. And that looks really honest as well. It doesn't look absolutely pristine, but it looks very, very honest. And I've just noticed the dog in the window as well. Not a real dog. It has not been left in the car on its own. This one will survive perfectly well as is. And I'm sure he's having a lovely day, although he does appear to be staring into the sun, which is not the greatest. Now, we passed by this one on the way in. This is another Hillman. Different to the previous one. This is a slightly earlier model. I'd love to be able to tell you what it is, but unfortunately my kind of 40s, 50s era... Oh, there we go. It's a 1952 Hillman Minx Mark V. I should just look at people's windows. They actually do really good jobs of putting all of the information on. Be way easier. Wow, that is some impressive airbrush work on the front.
Oh, wow. Can I show you the bonnet?
Thank you. So yeah, ooh, here's an interesting one. Over to the right behind that is an Alfa Romeo. That is the car that we got our headlights off for our kit car. That is exactly the right one. I think that is an Alfa Brera. And then down here we've got nice looking MGB. Later model, so I'm guessing that must be like mid-70s because it's got the big plastic bumpers they put on for the American market, but still a really nice looking example, and it's super clean as well. But yeah, I'm just going to check what this is. Oh yeah, it is a Brera. It's apparently on Instagram, that_blue_Brera. But yeah, that has exactly this. This is basically the car that we got our front headlights from. They also put it in the Brava, the Bravo, and I think the 159. Well, the 159 definitely did. The other two are the ones that I'm a little bit less confident on. And then behind it you have a couple of MX-5s. Ooh, there's a Mustang over there. So we have a Datsun. Oh no, the Datsun is for sale. I could build a Rotson, and everybody should always build a Rotson. Nobody can stop me. I'm too far away from anybody with financial responsibilities to me who can possibly convince me otherwise. Because I should...
Close the range.
Yeah, we'll go back up this one. So we've just been told the range is dropping out a little bit, and we are starting to try and compete with the music behind us. But that is a very nice looking... That must be a 65 because it's a C-Reg. So that is an original 65, assuming that the plate is in fact accurate. My 66 Thunderbird is D-Reg, so this one being a C plate, this should be a 65 coupe, and I do love it. So this will be a 289, I think, small block Ford. I don't think they put the 302 in it at this point. I think that came later. But they actually didn't make a fastback at this point. It was only the coupe model that they had. Oh, and it's a Datsun 260 next to it, not the 240. So we can't make a Rotson. Oh well, never mind. I'll have to keep looking for something else. But there is a very nice looking Lotus Esprit, if camera can just spin round 180. Everybody loves a Lotus Esprit. It has pop-up headlights in it. It was turbocharged. It is the epitome of 80s. Well, admittedly, that's a 90s. But the Esprit is absolutely perfect. This is a Ford is very, very nice S-Class Benz. Oh. It's all about the Elvis look. That is looking quite something. They would look very good. Sell them. And then behind, a Nova 1.4 Merit looking very good. Admittedly, this is and Dwarfy is much more a hatchback person. But yeah, that's looking really clean. That surely must have had bodywork. They did not survive that well. Then we got one next to that, an GT, which is the correct MG. With a hatchback, and then this. I'm not sure what this one is. Let's have a quick look. No, it doesn't say. I mean, it's obviously a Rolls, judging by the old Spirit of Ecstasy on the front there. But this must be what, 20s? So it'll be a frame, and then somebody will have coach built and requested that bodywork specifically and had it built up, which is nice. Another Nova. It's a very. If we just come back this way. That is a juxtaposition of two very different eras of vehicles, with the Rolls-Royce parked up next to a little Nova. That's... Oh, really? Oh, excellent. Fabulous. So, brilliant, yes. So, yeah, the Rolls has apparently just won Best in Show, which it means, unfortunately, they've beaten our half-finished kit car, which, I mean, that sounds like a travesty. But, nonetheless, that is a beautiful-looking machine. And again, it looks really like honest and original. It doesn't look like it looks like it's been driven, which is half the battle. Like getting things that you can actually use and not just having it sat in the garage. Oh, 1 second. Your dress is caught in the door. So yeah, so we're coming back up the hill now towards where we were. Obviously there are more cars that go around further on that way, but we are limited largely by signal, so we can't get to everything around. If we go further across that way, we end up being interfered by trees. So we're going to have to think of a new idea for next year so we get a bit more range on it. And then we're back over at the 360 again, and a nice little Singer. So the Singer is an interesting one. This is part of the Roots group. Now, from memory, the Roots group eventually did end up in British Leyland with Rover and everything else. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it all got amalgamated in together. Obviously, Jag, Rover, Hillman was Roots group, Singer was Roots group. I'm pretty certain they all ended up together, but again, my knowledge of the sort of Roots group and British Leyland amalgamation and how that all kind of collapsed into one another is a little bit limited. I've watched a number of videos, but they're just not sticking. So then we're back to the T-top Corvette, which does look really nice. I like the plate. This is Corvette Berkshire one, so it must be, yeah, again, 1981 because it says so. But it has the really nice slot mag wheels on it. I do love that. So yeah, let's take a walk back up towards our stand and our cars. Oh, it's a 528. I thought that was a 525. But that 5 Series that didn't have the bonnet up is a 528, and it does look so clean. The chrome is lovely. It's a massive back box that's sitting on the back of it as well. And as I say, you've got the Daimler. Now, looking at the Daimler from the side, it has really, really good lines. And I must admit, I've never driven one, but it looks like it should drive really nicely. It might not handle especially well as a sports car, which I presume is probably the issue that many people have with it. But for just a summertime cruiser, just looping around the country roads, I have to imagine that that is a really, really entertaining vehicle. 10 out of 10 would summer drive that. So I'm going to have to stop talking, so we might be about to end the broadcast there because my voice is definitely going, and apparently my hay fever is kicking me really, really hard. But next year, it's normally the first weekend of July. Obviously, it's the second today, so basically whatever the first Sunday of July is, that is when the Berkshire Motor Show is normally on. The Reading Society of Model Engineers are down in the corner, and they have an open day where they're running all of their trains. They have 5-inch and 7.25-inch gauge. And given the wind is picking up, before you all get deafened by the wind cutting across this mic, I'm going to sign off and hand back over to Chris, hopefully on the stand. But from here, I can't see that he's talking to someone, so we'll see whether that actually happens. If it doesn't, thank you for coming and having a look around the show with us. This has been a bit of an experimental test to see whether it works. There are definitely some bugs that we could have done with trying to iron out, but I think we'll do this again next year with everything that we've learned and add more smarts and more smart people. Because apparently I make terrible decisions, like building a car that takes 6 years when you estimated it was 3. It'll probably go into the 7th, so yeah, we'll see. But we'll head back up, just on the off chance that Chris isn't going to be able to pick up from us. He does look to be in very deep conversation with a couple of people explaining why we make terrible choices on our vehicles. So, thank you very much for joining us on this wander round. We will see you next time. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're watching on Facebook, go over to YouTube, Pedalbox Show. You can subscribe to us there, like the video, comment with what you liked that we've just been walking around and seen. And we'll see you next time. We've got more videos coming out on the kit car, and the GTO project is going to be coming along, as well as the Thunderbird and more. So we will see you later. Thanks very much for watching.
It does take ages to boot, but...
Yeah, well, the camera turned off.
Oh, it's because the V-lock's dead.
So that was a nice little walk around with me trying to work out what cars were that actually had it written on them in a lot of cases. So I probably got some wrong that I really shouldn't have. But
The really fun ones when you get one wrong when you're standing and staring at the logo.
yes. Oh, it wasn't just
Been there,
that.
done
Some of
that.
them had it on the plate.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know what this is. It looks like a Ford, and it clearly says Ford Coupe 1934.
Been there.
Great, brilliant. Another one had an actual factual printout. It was a Hillman. I've already forgotten which one it was, but it was a Mark V something, and it had a sheet in the window. But because I came from the wrong side,
You didn't
I
see
couldn't
it.
see the sheet. No, it's a Hillman something. I don't know what. Oh no, it's and reeled it off because it said on the front. But yeah, it's been a great day down here. We've spoken to so many people, most of whom have come and looked at.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Camera's
it
getting
is a little
blown
bit
out a
windy down here, and we're on the top of the hill, so you're going to have to bear with us while the camera wobbles around some. But yes, we've had a great day. Loads and loads of people have been coming over, most either going, wow, I love the GTO, or what the hell have you done with that? So yeah, it's been great. Hopefully,
loved it.
Yeah, had lots and lots of good feedback from lots and lots of people. We've had a great time. Obviously, we've been testing all of the tech setup, so I'm really pleased that the tech setup has now properly worked in earnest in the field. We are away from home. We're running on a very small 2K generator and a bunch of MISC stuff. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to show you what production looks like since we did this last time we did a live one. This is where we're at. So yeah, we've got a little desk, a little audio desk over here, a little Atom, nice little screen, and then the oh, can't see anything.
You found it?
Please hold, caller.
It needs to do the camera.
Apparently, I really do. Yeah.
Why is it not doing it?
I just opened the iris. Why does it go? Oh, it's F8.
Yeah.
Wow, that's not doing anything.
One sec, it's because it's on a load of auto stuff.
Yeah. Well, you've seen what we had before. I'm going to put this back down because right at the end of our broadcast is definitely not the time to actually start trying to figure out all of the things. So, thank you very much for watching and sticking with us through what is yet another audio-visual test out in the field. And I'm going to try and make sure our gazebo isn't going to disappear in the wind and fly across all of our cars. So, once again, thank you very much for watching. Chris is currently explaining a lot of things to people who are once again going, what on earth is this and why? If you haven't already, as I say, like and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook as well. We've also got Instagram. There's a Discord server you can join, which the link might be in the description. If not, go and find it in one of the other videos. We'll be back next time with another one of these broadcasts on the 6th of August, as well as more videos between now and then, with lots of work happening on the car that you see behind us, and possibly a little bit on the GTO, but I'm not sure. Definitely some work on the Thunderbird. Thanks very much for watching. Check out shop.pedalbox.show and patreon.com/pedalboxshow, where you can support us, all of our builds. More importantly than anything is getting this one finished for the IVA at the end of the year. And thanks very much again for watching. I wasn't sure how wide you needed me to be on that camera to get me in.
You were talking, and I didn't know what you were talking about. Because I was downwind. No.
We can probably start de-rigging tech. Yes. Yeah. Like,
And that's going out to YouTube. That's going to be us.
that one can pack down. We'll just leave the one clamped up there, just because it's a nice knock across the field. If I could, I would put it a bit higher, but it was sagging down, which is why it's